Hello, thank you for joining me. We're going to discuss practical tips for foreigners in America. And today's topic is how to communicate. You might think that you're a great communicator wherever you come from, but when you go to a foreign country, there's a different way that people communicate. There's a different style, there's a different voice inflection, and certain words have different meanings. And so you need to be aware of this. And so how to communicate here with the people is a very important thing. We had a visitor that came, and the visitor wanted to help with the school, the elementary school that we have here, which is called a primary school here in Uganda. And so what they did was they said, okay, if you pay 50% of your school fees, because schools are not free here, even for the most poor person, everybody has to pay. If you pay 50%, then I'll think about giving you sponsorship and paying for the rest. But what they heard was if we pay 50%, that's all we have to pay. Because the way that they communicated was very American style, and they didn't consider how Ugandans hear things. And so it caused a huge problem. Like that term, 350 students came and ran to the school because they thought they only had to pay 50%. And then when they found out later that after they paid 50%, they were considered for sponsorship, they were very angry, and the school suffered so much. So many children left. And granted, it's ridiculous to think that you would only have to pay 50% for your child to go to school, but it really caused a problem because the person didn't learn how to communicate in a way that the Ugandan people would understand what they were trying to say. And they thought they were pretty clear, but for an American, sure, if they were in America, sure, but this is Uganda. So if you're going to come to Uganda, you need to learn how to communicate. Big, fancy, intellectual words are not a good idea, number one. And you don't want to color code things. You want to be very direct with things. It would have been better for them to say, you can be considered for sponsorship, but we don't make any promises to you. Here are the requirements you have to meet for us to consider you for sponsorship. If there had been a focus on that instead of the paying the 50%, because the focus was on the 50%, then there would not have been the miscommunication. And so when you're here, if you're not really sure the best way to communicate, you should talk to somebody that you're moving with, your taxi driver or whoever picked you from the airport, because typically people in Kampala speak English. Most people in Kampala speak English. They speak Luganda as well, but I got news for you. There's over 300 languages in Uganda. So in the developed towns and cities, you're going to find a lot of people that speak English, and that's very helpful for you. But you want to make sure that the way you communicate is clear and plain and to the point. Whenever I am trying to be friendly with people, sometimes they don't understand what I'm saying. In America, it would work and people would be like, oh, she's so friendly. But here they're like, what? What did you say? What do you mean? I don't understand. What are you asking me for? Because that's how we're used to communicating in America. But you have to learn how Ugandans communicate, and they don't do the fluff like we do. They're straight and to the point. So, you're sitting in a restaurant in Kampala and you want your check. Then you don't say, oh, the food was so good and it was like, and here's how I feel about it, and oh, I'm ready for the bill now. They're not going to understand what you're talking about. They're going to be like, oh, okay, and then they try to do what they think you said. You can't flower it up. You just got to be really direct. When in this example, you're eating in a restaurant in Kampala and you say, can I have the bill, please? It's that simple. It's really simple. And the way they describe things here is a little different. Like candy isn't candy, it's sweets. You say sweets, everybody knows what you're talking about. You say candy, nobody has a clue. You want spaghetti, it's macaron, not spaghetti. If you say spaghetti, they don't know what you're talking about. Macaron, they know. I'm trying to think of some other things. I think maybe in some of these series you've heard some of the words I say sound kind of weird because of the way things are here in Uganda. The way they use the words is different. Like I'll say moving. I don't mean I'm moving from my house. I mean that I'm traveling in the car, because that's the way they talk here. So you need to really pay attention and adjust yourself to hear. Adjust yourself, because you're going to be here for a few weeks or a few months, and you need to respect the culture you've come to. So maybe you meet somebody and their name is Aroni. Do you know that's Aaron? And so for me, as an American, I want to say Aaron, but the truth is it's Aroni. That's because that's the way they pronounce it here. And you have to adjust yourself. Because if you try to say Aaron and it's pronounced Aroni, then you say Aaron, they don't know what you're talking about because of the way you placed the accent and the way that you're speaking the word, right? And it's taken me a while to be able to adjust to that, but you need to just listen and pay attention. You shouldn't be correcting a pronunciation because this isn't your country. This is how they say things in their country, and you need to be okay with it, right? So if you're not sure about what somebody's saying to you because maybe a Ugandan's talking to you and he keeps saying she, but he means he, you can ask him, do you mean she or he? And they're not going to get offended. They'll make it clear, right? Because a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody, they'll say, I hear that, and what they really meant was they tasted it or they saw it or they smelled it, and they just picked the one word out of the senses that they could remember, and they applied it. And so it's okay to say, oh, do you mean that you smelled it? And they'll be like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So you have to be aware and you have to listen. You have to listen in order to communicate when you're in another country, because they do speak English, but it's Queen's English, it's not American English. And so sometimes there's a little confusion and you have to step back and listen. And you might be wanting to communicate something, and like I said, strip it down. Don't make it flowery, don't make it complimentary, don't use big words. Say exactly what you mean instead of saying, oh yeah, no, this is so nice, and I think that I really liked the way that the food was, and it was this and that and the other. They'll ask you, is your food okay? Your answer is yes, it's fine, because otherwise there's going to be a breakdown in communication. And I'm only using a restaurant as an example, but it can be used in everything. I have found myself, I'm saying something because I'm trying to be like really friendly, and then they don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but they just smile and nod because they know I'm trying to be friendly, but I can't get done what I need to get done. And I've learned, don't flower it up like I would in America. Don't. Just be direct and plain and friendly. Smile, have a friendly tone, but be direct and plain. And if you do that, then you're going to avoid communication errors. But if you come here with the same kind of communication that we use in our home countries, there's going to be confusion, and it can even lead to violence. It can even lead to misunderstandings and even to jail. So be aware when you come here, and really listen and really make an effort to change your pattern of speech to match the environment so that you avoid misunderstandings. That's very, very important. So I think that that's enough about communication. I just think that we need to think outside of our own countries and think about where we're going, and respect where we're going, and respect those people that we're coming to talk to and spend time with, by adjusting ourselves to what they do, because we're entering their environment. They're not entering ours. So we need to be more careful and more diligent about that, more aware. So with that being said, be aware, be safe, and enjoy your time in Uganda.